I saw this sentence on the internet some time ago. Your relationship with anyone does not depend on how good you are to others, but on your strength and the number of chips in your hand. People are generally more tolerant of the strong, and even if the weak do nothing wrong, they will be treated harshly. In reality, many people are busy socializing, wanting to meet more talented people and make more connections. But in the end, you will find that if you have no value, even if you squeeze your head, you can't enter a higher circle. In this world, what determines your social relationship is always your strength. People with weak strength don't deserve to have a circle at all, because you are nothing in the eyes of others. People with real strength don't need to spend any time on socializing, because the network will automatically come to you. The cruelest reality of this society is, the strong have no social life, and the weak have no circle. The strong have no social life. Writer Zhang Rong was once selected as China's most unsociable writer. In 2004, he published the novel Wolf Totem, and in just a few years, sales exceeded 6.5 million copies. After becoming famous, Zhang Rong did not participate in various seminars and exchanges like other writers, but chose to fade out of people's sight. Every year, many media reporters came to interview him and invite him to attend events, but he had no interest in these social events and always refused them. He always stayed outside the mainstream and devoted himself to writing behind closed doors, which also allowed him to create more valuable works. This reminds me of a sentence said by the media person Jean Ku. Someone told me before that you have to accumulate connections and you have to communicate with people. Later, I found that as long as you are strong enough, these are not necessities. The real strong do not need to socialize or maintain relationships. For them, focusing all their energy on improving their own abilities is the only important thing. Peng Lei, the lead singer of the New Pants band, has always been a maverick. Others want to know the big guys and accumulate connections for themselves. But he is extremely indifferent in interpersonal communication. He has a principle that for every person added to the address book, he must delete one person. In a program, Li Dan forced him to add WeChat, and he looked embarrassed. Su Zhang has been blocked by me. Let's delete Ning Hao or Lu Chuan. Compared with socializing, he prefers to tinker with instruments, write lyrics, and practice songs alone. He is a loner, immersed in his own music world, and has polished out one golden song after another, which also makes him the object of invitations from major programs. Writer Ko Shichi said, "Strong people often have very little social life. In their view, people are polite to each other and talk to each other, but it is just a waste of time. Instead of consuming in various relationships, they would rather choose to practice alone." The real strong are not without social skills, but know how to put more energy on themselves. When you begin to understand this, you can continue to improve and live your best life. The weak have no circle. There is a saying in extreme resume, when you have not reached a higher level, all your connections are worthless. If you are not good enough, those so-called connections are all a joke. Li Shuaqin once shared an experience in an interview. During her study abroad in New York, she attended a gathering of Peking University alumni in New York. Those who came to attend the alumni gathering were all well-known figures in New York, either with extremely high social status or with rich wealth. In order to attend this gathering, Li Shuaqin deliberately put on exquisite makeup and wore high heels. But after she went there, she found that no one paid attention to her at all. Even if she took the initiative to introduce herself to others, the other party just smiled and did not want to get to know her. Some people also asked for the WeChat of many people at the scene, but ignored her, which made Li Shuaqin couldn't help but sigh that without strength, you can only be a small transparent person wherever you go. Li Shuaqin's experience is actually a true portrayal of many people in real life. They are busy with various gatherings and criticize various circles, with the purpose of building relationships and looking for opportunities. But if you don't have strength, even if you sharpen your head, it will be useless to get into the best circle. Business reporter Su Feng told a story. 2 years ago, the China Internet Conference was held in Beijing, and many vice president-level executives of the Fortune 500 came to participate. At that time, the manager of a small company found Su Feng and hoped that he could take him to the closing dinner. Su Feng took him there out of consideration. The manager wanted to get to know some industry leaders through this opportunity, but he didn't expect that after he went there, he handed out business cards everywhere, but everyone chose to ignore him. Later, every time he talked about this matter, Su Feng sighed. If a person's level are not enough, he will not be accepted even if he gets into a high-end circle. Zhou Guoping said that the dominant force in the social scene is definitely not friendship, but interests or strength. Your value determines your position in the social scene. Without the blessing of strength, those accidental connections are nothing but false bubbles. When you are too weak, no matter how many circles you get into and how many big men you meet, you will eventually become an outsider. When you are strong, relationships will come naturally. Psychologist Dan Ariely said, "The so-called relationship is nothing more than a precise matching game. The most important thing is to be well matched. Only when a person is outstanding enough can he have the confidence to match and attract other outstanding people." When screenwriter Liu Jie first entered the writing circle, he printed a box of business cards for himself. He ran around various reading forums and book fairs all day long, hoping to meet some colleagues and find some resources for himself. As a result, he was constantly met with coldness in reality. Some people ignored him, some people rejected him coldly, and some people took the business card and threw it away directly after taking a look. The days of hitting a wall everywhere made Liu Jie completely realize that if you are not strong, no one will look at you straight. After that, he no longer messed around, but focused on writing scripts, and finally won several screenwriting awards. After becoming famous, many peers in the industry took the initiative to come to him. The general rule of this society is, when you are weak, there are the most passers-by, and when you are strong, you have the most friends. When you are excellent to a certain extent, it is natural to have connections. The host Lu Jia started out as a trainer. Once, a friend introduced him to a boss who wanted to undertake the training business of the other company. After seeing Lu Jia's secondary technical school degree, the boss mocked and said, "You haven't even attended college? What qualifications do you have to give lectures?" This sentence hit Lu Jia hard, and made him realize that if he was not strong enough, he would always be looked down. After that, he began to study everywhere, and reading and writing every day, the good face of others. And through such uninterrupted efforts, scheming and later, he was selected by the "If you are to work hard to improve yourself," quickly became popular. Connections after the explosion, people came to him to seek only when you are strong to a certain extent can you have truly reliable social relationships. Don't worry about not having connections. American sociologist Homans said in the book, "Any interpersonal relationship is essentially an exchange relationship. Social relationships themselves are tailor-made. How much ability you have and how much value you can provide will determine how big a circle you can enter. Social relationships are like a scale. One end is your own strength, and the other end is the resources you can leverage. Stop wasting time on ineffective socializing. In a society where people are divided into high and low in terms of strength, improving yourself is the only way to go. Networking is like a web. Only by strengthening yourself can this web become wider and stronger." Follow and like this post to encourage your friends.